Hi, my name is Melinda,
I'm Leah.
and we are students at Fresno State. I'm a senior.
I'm a junior,
I'm a public health community health major,
as am I.
and this is for our Public Health 109 epidemiology class with Dr. Krenz. So the topic we decided to focus on, like a lot of other people in our class, was alcohol consumption in the rates of college students. But we're going to focus a little bit more on a specific group of college students at Fresno State. Leah, would you like to touch on it?
Yes, we're going to focus on Greek life, and we're going to pick out Greek life mainly because we're both in sororities, and we decided that we would like to focus on the impact of alcohol in the Greek community because we're a part of it.
We're not necessarily saying that like we think drinking and the Greek community at Fresno State has an issue. It's just something that we're interested to see. Like, how does alcohol consumption affect, our actual friends? Like, we want to see these numbers in real life and connect them to ourselves personally instead of just reading numbers from, the CDC or overall America. Like, we want to know the details of our campus with our peers, our friends, and we want to see the effect. So before we start getting into the details of our actual research, we're just going to touch on some facts that we have learned from the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism and some of the rates of college campus drinking. So a quotation by them is that harmful and underage college drinking are significant public health problems, and they exact an enormous toll on the intellectual and social lives of students on campuses across the United States. Drinking at college has become a ritual that students often see as an integral part of higher education experience. Many students come to college with established drinking habits, and the college environment can exacerbate the problem. According to a national survey, almost 60% of college students ages 22 to 18 drank alcohol in the past month, and almost 2 out of 3 of them engaged in binge drinking during that same time frame. So again, that was a quote from the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism. So that quote itself seems to put drinking in a very negative light, which is why we are so interested in looking at it and seeing how these students themselves feel. We want to see what kind of public health impact does it have on the people we know? Does it affect their grades? Do they get sick more often? Do they miss classes because they're drinking? So Leah's going to actually explain some more facts now, and then we will move on.
So I'm going to touch on a few more facts regarding the consequences of harmful and underage college drinking. This will come from the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism as well. So regarding death, about 1,825 college students between the ages of 18 and 24 die from alcohol-related unintentional injuries, and this includes motor vehicle crashes as well. Regarding assault, about 696,000 students between the ages of 18 and 24 are assaulted by another student who has been drinking or is under the influence. And sexual assault, about 97,000 students between the ages of 18 and 24 report experiencing alcohol-related sexual assault or date rape. And now, regarding academic problems, about 1 in 4 college students report academic consequences from drinking. This would include missing class, failing exams, falling behind in class, doing poorly on papers, receiving lower grades overall. It's in a national survey of college students, binge drinkers who consumed alcohol at least 3 times per week were roughly 6 times more likely than those who drank but never binged to perform poorly on a test or project as a result of drinking, 40% versus 7%, and 5 times more likely to have missed class. Other consequences include suicide attempts, health problems, injuries, unsafe sex, and driving under the influence of alcohol.
Okay, so now you've heard the facts from the National Institute, but we want to hear these facts in real life and how it applies to us at Fresno.
So now we're going to go interview students from Fresno State Greek Life. Yay!
Okay, so this is Emma, and she is a member of Fresno State Greek Life. We're going to ask her a couple questions on how she thinks alcohol has maybe affected her throughout her time at Fresno State.
So, Emma, do you think alcohol has affected your experience or your education at Fresno State?
Honestly, I don't think it really has. Like, yeah, I might have missed a few classes here and there, but I always am able to manage my time. My sorority actually has the top grades in Greek life. We have an average total of 3.3, I think, and so we obviously are able to do well in school also.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so this is Lauren, and she is another member of Fresno State Greek Life, and we are going to ask her another question.
So, Lauren, do you think being in Greek life and alcohol has affected your health at Fresno State?
I don't think that alcohol has negatively impacted my health at Fresno State. I think everything comes in moderation. Food could be considered unhealthy for you if you've eaten too much of it in excess. So I think everything can be handled in moderation, and I personally don't feel like it has affected my health in any way.
Awesome, thank you. This is Kylie, and she is also a member of Fresno State Greek Life, and Leah has another question for her.
All right, Kylie, do you think binge drinking is a problem at Fresno State within the Greek life?
I don't think it's a problem at Fresno State in Greek life. I think everyone's pretty responsible.
Awesome, thank you, Kylie. Okay, so do you think Fresno State Greek Life has a problem with drinking?
No, most of the people that are part of Greek life usually join Greek life so they can make communications with other people within their majors and really focus on school.
Awesome. And he is a member of a fraternity here at Fresno State. Leah, do you have a question for him?
Carson, do you think Fresno State has a drinking problem within their Greek system?
I think most people don't join the Greek system to drink. It's more to have a family away from home, and it helps with a lot more things than just that.
So true. Love it.
Do you think your being in Greek life at Fresno State has affected your academic performance?
Yeah, I believe so. Every semester my grades have gone up due to knowing more people, and study groups have been better.
So it sounds like that being in the Greek system has positively affected your GPA, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thanks. Okay, so now we have another member of a Fresno State fraternity. Do you think that drinking and being in a fraternity has had a negative effect on your health while you've been at Fresno State?
No, I've actually been sober for 19 years. I've never had a sip of alcohol, and I don't plan on it. It's a
So that concludes our interviews, and we also have another form of research. We sent out surveys to each of the fraternities and sororities here at Fresno State to get some other information, and Melinda will explain.
Yeah, so we made simple surveys, and they were completely anonymous, and each chapter of Greek life at Fresno State, they took them, and at meeting, they filled them out to give us some basic information on what they thought about drinking and how it affected them, specifically as a Greek student. So we have that research gathered, and we will explain all of it in our research paper. It was super interesting, and I think both Leah and I agree that being Greek and being students at Fresno State, drinking doesn't affect us negatively. In fact, compared to the average survey from the National Institute, we found that there's far less drinking problems within our Greek community than the survey said. So it's interesting to compare that with maybe the overall population of students at Fresno State.
I also found it interesting that a lot of the students at Fresno State in our Greek life, they actually found it had a positive effect on being in Greek life. They found that they form more study groups. They can go to class with their people in their chapter. It was a lot easier for them to get classwork done because there's people studying all the time and they're around that all the time. And it's actually more of a positive influence. And I just thought it was interesting that no one really had, a negative effect. There weren't any accidents or anything like that. I'm just seeing positive things.
Yeah, I agree. No one said that they had a negative correlation between drinking and their health either. Everyone said they were healthy. Not only did they form study groups, but they would go to the gym with, their sisters or brothers of their sororities or fraternities. Their houses offer them healthy meals, and they felt really educated on things that are prevalent in the college community, like sexual health, physical health, mental health. They all felt in check, and they didn't think that not only Fresno State Greek life had a positive impact, but they mostly thought that alcohol within that community did not have a negative impact. So that was really cool to see. And it's definitely not the stereotype. And that's really what we were trying to focus on, was denying that stereotype and showing all of you that, you know,
Fresno State Greek life and Greek life in general can be a positive thing, and it's not everything that we see on the news.
yeah. So overall, it was really good. We loved doing this project. And I think we have one more interview.
Do it.
This is Mr. Owl. He is also a member of Fresno State Greek Life. We have one more question for him. So, Mr. Owl, do you think Leah and Melinda should get an A on their project?
Yeah,